Hello, I'm Ann Green, and welcome to We've Got Books. And boy, do we ever. We are coming to you from the big sky country of the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, where we have four different seasons, all of which can occur within the very same day. I'll be your host for We've Got Books, and I'm excited to connect with you. I'll tell you about my books, as well as interviewing other Christian fiction writers about their books. My goal is to introduce you to some great Christian fiction, to explore the books, and to have fun. I focus on getting to know authors and discover why we write books. We'll discuss fiction of different genres: suspense, romance, historical, mystery, women's fiction, and humor. Have you ever read a sensational book and wondered about the author? We'll sit around the table chatting to get to know each author and how his book was created. So fasten your seatbelt, sit back, and enjoy this riotous ride into the literary world. Today, I'm interviewing well-known Christian author Robin Densmore Fuson.
Thank you, Anne.
So Robin, tell our listeners a little about yourself.
I'd be happy to. My husband, Jimmy, and our Belgian Malinois, Kinsey, live in Florida. Jimmy and I met online on a dating site and eloped in 2011. We both live in Colorado at that time. He's the one who encouraged me to write. I'd written curriculum for our church toddlers class and developed a vacation Bible school program and curriculum, but never thought about writing until my first husband became sick and dying. I asked the Lord what I'd do to support myself. God answered not in terms of supporting myself financially, but to heal my heart and help me encourage others in their lives through fiction and later through writing devotions and speaking to groups. That night, the Lord flooded my mind with my first children's chapter book in The Enchanted World of Rosita Valdez. Not knowing the first thing about writing, I attended workshops, groups, and online groups and conferences. I found great editors and readers. You see, I am a special case. I have multiple forms of dyslexia, and I can't remember how to spell words on a consistent basis. God must have a sense of humor. He proves my calling by blessing my work with numerous awards. I am so blessed.
That is so very interesting. You are an overcomer. I know you're busy writing, so do you have time left for hobbies?
Well, like most writers, I love to immerse myself in a good book. I collect giraffes. No, not the live kind. I don't have the facility to house them. Ceramic, wood, brass, glass in many sizes. The tallest one is 18 inches. The tiniest sits in a small Noah's Ark that children can play with. Last count, there were around 60. I have a flat wooden one that I lean against the stable close by to watch over for the arrival of baby Jesus at Christmas. Oh, I used to do embroidery crafts and such. Now I make my own book trailers and short videos. I also love to teach God's word. Right now, I'm deep into the book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible.
Boy, that's helpful to create your own book trailers and videos. If we had time, I would have loved to hear about all those processes. But for this podcast, we'll stick to learning about your writing journey and your books. How long have you been writing?
Well, I'm late to the writing gig. I worked full-time with my late husband in construction and interior finish. I can roof, tile, paint, hang wallpaper, and wire an outlet. Well, I used to, when I didn't know any better.
That's fantastic. I'm sure those abilities are in high demand with your own home, as well as those of friends and neighbors. You are multi-talented.
Thanks. Well, then I worked as a licensed optician in Colorado for over 10 years. Writing came when my future husband asked me what I would do in a mountain town in Rifle, Colorado. Out of my mouth came, I'd write. I couldn't make myself a liar, nor God for that matter. So I found my children's chapter book I spoke of earlier and blew off the dust. My first book became a reality in 2013. Number 18 came to life last February. I write flash fiction, short stories, devotions, and fiction books in almost every genre. I never know which until it starts taking shape. I am a pantser, so I don't plot. My characters are the ones who take hold of the story and bring me along. Creating story is amazing and fun.
You are talking with a fellow pantster. Our journeys deep into books are so amazing. They're difficult to explain to our listeners. For me, writing is like sitting at the computer and watching a movie in my head and translating the movie onto paper. Do you enjoy research?
I found that I do. I get into it and find myself there for hours. In historical books, murder stories, or the like, I've learned tame and delightful things like when ice cream became available to the consumer for my book, The Dress Shop, to how a serial killer might kill people in bizarre ways for a book, like in See You in 48.
Like you, I can get lost in enjoying research for my own books. What book are we discussing today?
Body ID is my latest book in the Mayhem and Murder in Durango series. I wrote this series because Durango, Colorado is where I was born and my family roots are there. I only lived there for a short time, but I came back often to visit my grandparents. My late husband enjoyed taking the family on four-wheel drive trails over the rugged mountains, and that added another dimension to my love of the mountains. Living in Colorado for most of my life, I've experienced many adventures that gave me fodder for my stories. The 3 and counting books in the series have journalist Jaylen Stewart, now Walker, she got married, who somehow ends up in the middle of mayhem or murder as she covers a story or becomes the story. Body ID, Jaylen helps solve who the mummified body is her husband found, and some of her research takes her on a mission to discover what happened during a real flood of 1911. Through her great-grandmother's diary, she uncovers sinister motives for the body and might lose her life if she gets too close to a 100-year-old secret.
Fascinating. Would you read the back cover copy of your book?
I'd be delighted. A buried body, a century-old diary, a secret worth killing for. When a cave-in on a Colorado mountain uncovers a mummified body, journalist Jaylen Walker expects a career-making story for the Durango Herald. Instead, she finds herself hunted by ruthless men determined to keep the truth buried. The discovery was made by her husband, Adam, and now both are in danger. As threats mount and the investigation grows more perilous, Jaylen joins forces with Detective Dustin McCall. Jaylen races to uncover the identity of the body and the meaning of the drugs found alongside it. The deeper she digs, the more it becomes clear this mystery didn't start in the present. It began more than 100 years ago. Faith, courage, and perseverance uphold her on a trail leading her far deeper than anyone expected. The key may lie in a forgotten diary written in 1911 by Jaylen's great-grandmother, Estelle Sullivan. Through her intimate journal entries, Estelle reveals a terrifying ordeal. Forced at gunpoint into a dangerous heist, her injured mother and infant child used as leverage to ensure her obedience. When a violent storm turns into a deadly flood, survival depends on unwavering faith, sacrificial love, and the belief that God's hand is still at work, even in the darkest moments. 2 women, 2 timelines, 1 deadly secret. Perfect for readers who enjoy the suspense of Colleen Coble and Diane Petrie, paired with the generational depth of Terry Blackstock and the historical emotion of Francine Rivers.
Sounds like an intriguing story. I'm sure our listeners would love for you to read an excerpt from Body ID. Would you?
Yes, I wrote about 2 Spitfire women from the same family decades apart. Both will fight for their life as well as for the people they love. Their lives will unknowingly entwine. I'll read a brief portion from Estelle on page 24, then a snapshot into her great-granddaughter, Jaylyn, on page 128. 1911 Estelle. Through the rain pelting the tin roof, Estelle heard a pounding on the door, which caused her to scurry and slip on clothes. Did someone need her midwife skills? Who would be out in the storm? The insistent knock sounded again. Out of breath from all the recent activities, she pulled the door open. Yes? A 2-barreled shotgun poked into her gut. Get back inside. Estelle jerked. She squinted and put her hands on her hips. Harry, what do you think you are doing? He prodded her with his weapon. I said get inside. I'm not fooling, and I'll use this. She huffed and backed into her home. Have you lost your mind? He answered by kicking the door closed with a bang. A wail came from the baby's room in the back of the house. Estelle glanced over her shoulder. Now see what you've done. She turned and hurried to her crying daughter. Page 128, present-day Jaylyn. On her feet, with adrenaline coursing through her and Melina's nails digging into her wrist, Jaylyn hesitated. The menacing man stepped closer. Jaylyn feared not only for them, but for the older woman. If she left, he might hurt Mrs. Featheringham. Rage contorted the man's face. The tire iron in his hand emphasized his words. I should have finished the job on the mountain. You are one nosy witch. The detective knows we're here and is on his way. Jaylyn hoped she sounded convincing. I'll make this quick. The tire iron in the air, he raced forward. Jaylyn shoved the chair into him. He tripped, and she picked up the other chair and broke it on his back. Run, Melina! Through the house they bounded, Melina leading the way. At the faulty porch step, Jaylyn saw Dustin's black SUV brake next to Melina's. Dusty, hurry! Melina's shriek could be heard in Pagosa Springs 100 miles away. Melina flew down the stairs as Jaylyn stepped out of sight beside the doorway. The guy came through. Jaylyn twisted his weapon-wielding arm behind him and up, then swept his feet, knocking him to the deck. Knee to his back, she waited for Dustin. Dustin leapt onto the porch and grabbed the guy. What's going on?
Wow, those excerpts draw me right into your story. Body ID. Thank you for making your book come alive for us. Robin, do you have anything else you'd like to share with your readers? Do you have a newsletter, a webpage, a place to buy Body ID?
Yes, you can find me on most social media sites and my YouTube channel. My handle, Robin Densmore Fuson, that's ROBINDENSMOREFUSON. For Pinterest enthusiasts, I created a board for each of my books. My webpage is loaded with both video and written devotions, book reviews, short stories, as well as information about my books. And that's www.robinfuson.com. Densmore.com. In fact, the video series on the book of Revelation I mentioned earlier on my website and YouTube as well. All my books are on Amazon, author Robin Densmore Fuson. Link to Body ID is body-mayhem-murder-durango-book-ebook. Of course, if you see me driving, you can flag me down. I have all of my books in my trunk.
Thank you, Robin. This has been an exciting interview. But once more, the time has sped by. So we must say goodbye from deep in the heart of Texas. We hope you enjoyed your time with Robin and me as much as we enjoyed having you. Join us next week when we interview author Anne Green. Yeah, that's me. And my historical novel, Trail of Tears, the story of John Ross. Listeners, we're so glad you joined us. Be sure to go to buzzsprout.com, that's buzzsprout.com, and listen to the 50 other podcasts on We've Got Books. You can find our podcasts on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcast host. Or you can go to my website, AnneGreenAuthor.com. That's ANNEGREENE author.com, and click on the podcast tab. All our podcasts are short, fun, and introduce you to excellent authors and books. This is Anne Green and Robin Densmore Fuson saying goodbye for now, and read a good book. For education, for a boost in your day, or just for pure fun. We hope you choose a book you learned about right here on We've Got Books. See you next time. Keep reading.